Hello, in this video, I want to discuss my work on the Academic Standards Committee. Probably the most significant faculty senate committee I worked on during my probationary tenure track time here. The Academic Standards Committee, to me, was an extremely important committee where I learned a lot about service and where I learned a lot about how the policies we set better serve our students, our faculty, and our staff. How these policies that we have can impact our students and help them have a good experience or even a bad experience if it's a bad policy. The Academic Standards Committee was an important service work in collaboration with other colleagues. I developed some really good relationships with various members of the committee. Lorraine Brown, the chairperson, Emily Raphael, Valerie Hatch, who I happen to know from years ago when we worked at the Neon Museum. And then, she's an instructor here and I'm an instructor here. And so, kind of maintaining that relationship. And it's really important, I really got to see that collaborative effort to come up with policies that served our students the best, that really helped our students, that would help our students achieve their goals, their dreams, and their educational goals. Each of the policies we worked on provided some opportunity for me to demonstrate service to the community and to our colleagues and students. I wanted to talk about a few of them. One really big one I thought was really important was the academic probation and suspension policy that we worked on. Students have troubles. Things come up. Not every student has a good semester. Not every student gets straight A's. Life happens. Capacity and aptitude are what they are. If a student doesn't get the support they need, they may run into problems. And so, to me, the academic probation and suspension policy really was an opportunity to serve our students who struggled. It wasn't just, you had a bad semester, you had 2 bad semesters, drop out, go away, never come back. The academic probation and suspension policy as we worked on it was really aimed at helping students get back on track. You've had a bad semester, you had a bad 2 semesters. What can we do to help you get back on track while maintaining academic standards, not ignoring the issues, but helping students, get back, serving their students the best they need to accomplish their goals. And so that was a really good one. That was a really good policy I really enjoyed working on because it was helping students that really needed it the most. Some students do well and they, our service to them may not be profound or impactful. The academic probation and suspension policy really is aimed at students that really need help. They're struggling. So that was a good policy. I really liked working on that one. Policies can be as simple as the core syllabus policy, which we worked on. So every teacher has a syllabi. Having a common core syllabi policy where, regardless of the class, there are some things that a student can count on, I think is important in serving our students with some continuity and transparency as they go from class to class to class to class. So the core syllabus policy is a really important policy that serves our students by providing that continuity and smooth transition between classes. Another important policy I think that I worked on, or with others we all worked on, was the military deployment, military leave policy. Kind of going along with the academic probation policy, things happen, life gets in the way, and so for military students who are active military, they have other responsibilities that are very important. how can we serve that? How do we serve their interests and help them, achieve their responsibilities, take care of their responsibilities, which are extremely important, and also help them continue achieving their educational goals, which are important as well. Kind of competing interests, competing responsibilities, and both are good. And so the military deployment, military leave policy was a really good opportunity to find a way to help our students in the active military, not have to pick. I don't have to pick. I can fulfill my military responsibilities and I can still achieve my academic goals as well. Another interesting policy that I like working on, the student complaint process. In my working 25 years in college, I've noted one of the things about students is they get frustrated, and one of the reasons they get frustrated sometimes is feeling powerless or hopeless, like there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. Like this last school year, a student in one of my classes had a run-in with another random instructor that she didn't know. It was kind of a big brouhaha. And, the student felt bad. She was depressed. She felt bad. What do I do? I don't, and so the student complaint process really allows students to find what you need to do to have a voice, to get some needs met, to get things off your chest. If you feel something is wrong in some way, you can do that. So the student, is able to help, kind of help them, guide them. Well, this is what you do, A, B, and C. We have a policy that can be followed. And your students, not all students love me. Sometimes students have a problem with me, and so the student complaint process gives them an opportunity. Okay, talk to me. Then we go to the department chair. Then we work our way up. And I tell my students, the reason for this policy is to help you get your needs met. You just email the college president, and that goes out of the chain of command. You may not get your need met immediately. What gets your frustration or thing met immediately? Working within that system. Talk to the instructor. If you're uncomfortable, talk to the department chair, and then it works its way up. And so this really provides a way, to help students, where can they go to get their needs, frustrations, or concerns, immediately addressed, or addressed, quickly, or ASAP. So the student complaint process, I think, was an excellent example of how we serve our students. We just don't say, oh, you're unhappy with something, keep it to yourself. It's a process. Here, you're frustrated, you have needs. Here's the process by which you can smoothly, effectively, and efficiently get your needs met. And so that was a really good policy to work on. Another policy, kind of the last policy I want to talk about, it's important. I also wanted to highlight this policy because I was asked by Lorraine Brown in this past February 2025, to actually lead a meeting. So I got to lead a meeting on the Academic Standards Committee. And so it was exciting to me to get to show my leadership opportunity, and it was on the CSN AI policy. So the AI policy, what's really important about that is we're serving our students immediately. Like, AI is a brave new world, new technology, taking the world by storm. Some people are whole hog into it. Others are like, no. Others are hook, line, and sinker, yes. Some are, it's a tool. There's all kinds of different views on it. It's a new, evolving technology. It's rapidly changing, evolving, and so the AI policy is an important example in how, this committee work, you're serving your students immediately. What do they need today? And so I worked on that. We got to work on that. One meeting, Marianne Hughes-Betts, she's one of the leaders on CSN AI policy. She shared, you came to the meeting, shared with us some stuff. Part of it is just also education. Like, what is it? Educate us on what AI is and what students are doing with it. And so the AI policy, working on that, we get to really kind of, how can we help our students today? What do students expect? And so it was really cool. And like I said, the highlight of that was in February. I got to facilitate a meeting. Lorraine Brown couldn't make it, so I was asked to facilitate a meeting, get some feedback on some stuff we'd been discussed earlier. We were revising some of the language, and so I had the opportunity to lead a committee meeting on that one. So it was pretty cool. I learned a lot about leadership, collaboration, and working with people. The last topic I want to talk about in this video is my work with the academic program peer review process as part of the Academic Standards Committee. It's kind of an offshoot assignment. Shari Peterson is in charge of that, and I got to work with her these last 3 years, spring 2023, spring 2024, and spring 2025, where we reviewed the different programs. This is important for assessment and for accreditation, so this is important service work. We have to be accredited as an institution to serve our students the best. So it's a foundational number one kind of a thing. So I got to do that for the last 3 years, where we reviewed programs, reviewed the data, the evidence. Are they giving enough details? Are they analyzing well? Does the data support the conclusions? What are some recommendations for their program? And so it was a really good experience to learn how programs operate and how they serve their students the best. And so the Academic Standards Committee, I think, is a highlight of my experience the last 3 years working on tenure. Really learned a lot about service, collaboration, how policies affect our students on a daily basis. Thank you.